What's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? Good? I hope so. Me? I'm. Are we doing it? Are we sending them through?
Should I send it through to you? Here you
Send it
go. You
on
ready?
over,
Here,
dude.
here
Let's
it comes,
go.
Coop. Here it comes. Happy Alarm Fantasy Football Day, everybody. Coop and Bender, we're starting our own dance team.
Oh, coming on back. Yeah, there it
We've been
is.
practicing that.
Yeah, exactly. We got up early today and started practicing because Adam Schefter decided that the perfect time to break DeAndre Hopkins trade news was 6:50 this morning. 6:47. That's what 7 o'clock is when I wrote the article today. And Howard usually does the videos, but I thought to myself, Howard's not going to be awake for 3 more hours. So I did the video as well on DeAndre Hopkins. We'll give you our thoughts on that. We'd love to know your thoughts in the chat. There's so much going on. I want to know who you guys got on waivers. I spent a little fab this week, Howard. I don't usually, but this week I did. I went out and got myself a little Juwan Jennings where he was dropped. I scooped up a little Jalen McMillan where he was available, which is a lot more places than Juwan Jennings was. So feeling pretty good. What about you, man? Did you grab anybody?
I also grabbed Juwan Jennings in leagues where he was dropped. I had. How about this? I had Jalen McMillan already on my roster, backing up Chris Godwin in the Scott Fishbowl. But you know what? It's, Jennings, McMillan, and then I grabbed a little Tim Patrick. I mean,
Ooh, I like
you
that.
don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know what's going to happen with Jamison Williams. I don't know if Detroit's going to be like, yeah, we just want to get him back in there, or if like the team needs to turn around and I don't know, like, be a father figure to this dude and just be like, dude, you can't do this and give him some sort of a punishment. I doubt that's the case because we know it's the NFL and they don't care, right? Like the team's like, oh, we just want to win. That's it. But to me, Tim Patrick gains some value here for the time being right now, right? We can get in on Tim Patrick at least for the next 2 weeks as that option, that receiving option opposite Amon-Ra.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, people have heard me say the term professional wide receiver before, and sometimes people are a little confused, why we say that, because they're all professionals, right? Well, I kind of break them into two categories, punks and professionals. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of punks out there that don't want to learn. They don't want to do the playbooks. They don't want to put in the work. And those guys, unless they're super talented, wash out. There's a lot of punks that can last a long time because they're really talented. But then there's a group of guys that are professionals. You look at Demarcus Robinson, you look at Josh Reynolds, Tim Patrick. These guys want to work. They want to work hard. They're willing to learn the playbooks. They're willing to block, put in the work. Justin Watson, guys like Tim Patrick end up becoming fantasy relevant because they put in the work and they stick to it and they do whatever's asked of them. So I'm totally with you there. Guys like that, like they have the smarts to learn all the positions. So if somebody goes down, they're ready to do something and keep getting paid and keep being professionals where you make millions and millions of dollars. So shout out Tim Patrick. Shout out to
you maintained your focus so beautifully there as I'm like just popping comments up there.
The likes for Laney got me. There's some sort of roto buzz guy chant going on in the chat today. It is very distracting, but I love the chat, dude. I see Audie Coop in the house, dude. What's happening? And we're gonna get to all your questions today. I think what we should do is, today we're gonna hit on the Thursday night football game. We'll give you some underdog picks. We love doing those. And tell you what, Howard. Might even be a little tackle monster early today because there's some actual tackle lines in there, which is nice. We'll tell you guys our favorite games. We'll tell you guys our favorite matchups. But as always, the Wednesday show is for you guys. You can ask any questions you want. Howard won't yell at you if you ask a start sit because it's officially Wednesday. Okay. Eric, you don't have to hide your start sits today, buddy. You can get them in there. Tuesday is waiver show and maybe some trades if you say you're clearing up roster space. But today we hit on your question. So what do you say, Howard? Man of the people, get in there. Should we dig in?
People, get in there, man. Where are we going? You want me to run this? You want to run this? I don't even remember the system anymore.
You ask me questions on Tuesday, and I do the waiver articles, and then I hit you with them today. The first one I have here on the screen is where's that one from? What time does that one come in? You actually might have ones that are earlier than I do. So put that one back up.
10:03. You know what? I didn't even look on YouTube today to see if somebody popped in some questions super early, and it looks like they did. Here you go. Mojo doesn't show up. We can't pop this question up there, but it's right here. Mojo wants to know. He says, "I've got Diggs, Mooney, Lockett, Hopkins. Which
I got that one.
wide receivers do I start?" This would be for a PPR league.
PPR.
Oh, look, it's right there. Where'd you find
There it is. It's on my screen. It's there. Shout out Restream. Very cool. So this week I'm benching Hopkins. I mean, the thing with Lockett is that Metcalf is banged up. Mooney's been great. Diggs has been great. And if we have the luxury to get a look at it first, right, we don't know how well Hopkins knows this scheme. So you saw with Devonta Adams, he knew the scheme. He played the whole game. With Amari Cooper, he did not know the scheme. He had to learn the playbook, and basically he only learned a package of plays, only played 19 snaps. He got 5 targets and scored a touchdown because he's Amari Cooper. But in the very first game here, if you have those good of options, I would give Hopkins a rest just in case he does only play a package of plays. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it always comes down to what your options are.
Right.
And when you're looking at a group like this, Diggs, Mooney, Lockett, it gives you that luxury to just kind of wait and see on Hopkins. Are you going to could you miss a touchdown like what happened with Amari Cooper? Yeah, it's possible. But I definitely think that, Mahomes has got Kelsey and Worthy and Noah Gray. We see so much 2 tight end work going on there in Kansas City that they will incorporate. They managed to do just fine when Juju Smith-Schuster went down with an injury. So I'm not really that concerned about, like Hopkins going off for like some vintage, big performance for himself. I think, yeah, it's definitely a good wait and see kind of a thing because I do love those other 3 guys.
Not to mention the Chiefs have kind of been, I hate to say it, but kind of clocking in and clocking out here. You know what I mean? They're just kind of doing the bare minimum. And against the Raiders this week, this one could be the most Chiefs game yet, where they're just gonna do the bare minimum, win the game, and then go home undefeated. And everyone will be like, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns." It's like, dude, all you got to do is win the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is an easy win for them.
Kareem Hunt, 123 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns, run-heavy scheme.
Sounds good. Carson Steele fumble at some point. Just typical game script. Typical game script.
Oh, Gator.
Gator. Oh, Gator. What's his Gator's name? Now I forget. It's Crocky. Crocky the Gator. That's a name only a football playing child can come up with. Mojo. Also another question. Also, which should I start? Bo Nix, Geno, or Kirk?
Oh, all right. So, I mean, Kirk Cousins has a great matchup here against Tampa Bay, right? Their secondary is struggling. I know Jamel Dean just went on to IR. They don't have a good, strong pass defense. So I'm okay with using Kirk here. It's kind of funny. I was looking at Bo Nix because he's going up against Carolina, and it's a super soft matchup. And if there's a way to kind of get Bo Nix, a little bit more well-balanced and using the passing game, this would definitely be it. But to me, I would rather go with like Kirk Cousins here. And then what is Seattle's going up against? They're at home against Buffalo. Could be a decent amount of throwing in that one there, but I think that I like Cousins in this matchup here against Tampa Bay. It's a divisional game. And I think that that's just kind of the direction that I'm leaning right now. Who do you like?
I'm with you on that one. I do like Cousins ahead of those guys. And with Bo Nix, I like Bo Nix. I think he's a good player. And I get why a lot of people want to play Superflex these days, because when I do my rankings for quarterback, I'll sit here and I'll look at the matchups and say, "Oh, I like Bo Nix this week." And then I'll see how high it's realistic to rank him. And very rarely do new guys crack the top 10 to 12, because by default, especially in a week, Howard, no bye weeks this week. Right. So by default, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, are going to be somewhere in there. You can rank Patrick Mahomes 9 if you want. He's going to be in the top 10. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then it's Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love. It's like, you can't get those guys out. In no world am I going to rank Bo Nix ahead of Jordan Love. I'm not sure what would even need to happen. So it's just like, if you want to use guys like that.
473 yards and 6 touchdown passes. And he runs 2 of them in also.
For real. If he
that would
does,
put Bo Nix above Jordan Love for me. That would
yeah,
do it.
and then next week we might consider it.
Well, let me ask you. All right, because you know what, man. Sometimes sometimes I'm a bit selfish here, and when I've got Coop here and it's in front of you guys, and it can probably help you as well. For all you Anthony Richardson owners out there, I'm feeling it with you. I'm feeling it with you. I need to go out and get a quarterback on the waiver wire in a very competitive league, Coop. So here are my options. Now, this is, mind you, I also need to replace DK Metcalf and Chris Godwin in this league. So Fab is going to be kind of crazy in this one here for me. But Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, and Tua. And you know what? I'll throw Jameis Winston in there. Those are the 5 QBs who are available to me this week. Nix, Herbert, Wilson, Tua, Winston.
Nix, Herbert. Wow. Nix, Herbert, Wilson, Tua. I have the highest of those guys ranked for me this week is Tua. I have Tua at 17 going against the Cardinals this week.
Yeah.
I have I actually have Bo Nix ahead of Anthony Richardson for this week because Bo Nix been running the ball a decent amount. Anthony Richardson last week off the oblique, not really running, man. Not really running. So I for me, it's Tua. And it's the Cardinals and it's Tyreek Hill and it's Jalen Waddle. And guess what? Tyreek Hill back to being ranked like wide receiver 7. No Chris Godwin, no Brandon Ayuk, no DK Metcalf most likely. It's like by default. You get to that range of like wishy-washy guys pretty quick. And I love T. Higgins, but I'm not going to rank him ahead of Tyreek Hill with Tua. You know what I mean? So what are you going to do? Tyreek Hill's back to must start.
Now the question is, what kind of a fab bid am I looking at here? In a week with no bye weeks, right? I've got the Richardson debacle in my lap. Everybody else has their quarterback ready to go. So how aggressive do I need to be in order to land a guy like Tua? Or do I feel comfortable enough to just put in a sensible bid for Tua and then a couple of contingency bids afterwards with any of these other guys?
I would honestly, are you going to drop Richardson to pick up Tua?
No, I'm gonna drop that idiot Andy Dalton. You guys know
There
how
you
I
go.
feel about Andy Dalton.
So if that's the case, I would put a small bid on Tua and then $0 bids on Bo
on the rest of the way.
Because I have Tua, Bo, and Richardson ranked back to back to back.
Yeah.
Like you still have a decision kind of between Bo and Richardson. And if you don't get any of them, who cares? Just start Richardson, right? He's still Anthony Richardson. There's
so enough about me. Let's talk about
Let's get back to the chat. Okay.
What do you guys all think about me?
What do you guys think about the Boston Celtics? Yeah, no, this is
all right. Yeah,
no hockey talk.
Put this into chat right now. We're gonna put this out there for everybody. Go ahead. Do you favor Coop's Boston Celtics sweatshirt? Go ahead, show it off to the kids.
Oh, that's not fair because you're going to show the shirt you're wearing, and I've already seen it.
Yeah,
Celtics.
there you go.
Right.
Or
matches my shirt, matches my hat, matches my watch.
The Pit Spitters, little minor league baseball team.
2 black.
What does
watches.
the watch have to do with it?
Matches my outfit. Okay, what do you guys think? Celtics just tied the record for most 3-pointers in the game ever. Just hung a banner.
Or Pit Spitters.
Or his Pit Spitters kind of cool shirt. Let us know, chat. I think we might have enough C's fan. Actually, there are 31 teams that do not like the C's. All right, back to the chat. Working on some trades like you suggest. But in the meantime, I need 1 RB, 2 flex, half point. Tank, Chase. Okay, let's do the running back first. Because one has to be running back. Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, or Bucky Irving.
I'm probably gonna lean Chase Brown here, and I hate myself for it, but I don't know what's going on between him and Zach Moss. I think that's going to be it's at best probably like a 50-50 split right now. Mm-hmm. I can't get behind Rico Dowdle running up against San Francisco, and again, Bucky Irving, he's a solid option, but they're running Sean Tucker and they're running Rachaad White. And Rachaad White is the guy who's getting the passes as well. So Brown is my lean here. What's next?
Yep.
2 flexes?
I think Tank Dell is going to be one of them for us, kind of right off the rip.
Yeah.
So after that, it's one more flex out of Dowdle Irving, Roma Dunze, Jacoby Myers, Lad McConkey, or Jalen McMillan?
I mean, I feel like I'm just going to lean McMillan and just take him for a spin. I mean, we don't know where the targets are going. It's him, it's Sterling Shepard, it's Trey Palmer. We're going to have to kind of wait and see. It's not a terrible matchup here for Odunze going up against Washington. I don't mind that at all, although I do think that we're going to see a lot of DJ Moore in this matchup. I can't get behind Jacoby Myers, even though I know he's a PPR guy, but it's Gardner Minshew there. Lad McConkey-Tonk, Badonkadonk, that's an interesting one, especially with the way, like, what is up with, like, how all of a sudden are we seeing Justin Herbert slinging the rock 36 times a game? Like, where's that coming from here? What happened to Greg Roman's rushing attack?
I don't know, man, but I like it. I want to see, I just want to see them focus on somebody. You know what I mean? It's just it's spread around. Will Disley and all this nonsense, but McConkey didn't look healthy. I think if McConkey's a full go, I think I'm starting McConkey. Otherwise, if he's even limited, I'm going McMillan. Just go at random, just go mystery box upside with McMillan. The chat here looks like my Celtics getting crushed.
I haven't even scrolled down. Let me scroll
Boo
down.
Boston, boo Spitters, bro. I'm a Heat fan.
I got a pitch Spitters is epic here. Yep.
Well, Paul Love, I like that. And Hal, yes, the Celtics did have a white guy that shot threes and talked smack better than anyone else. His name was Larry Bird. Absolute legendary smack talker and three shooter, no question. So, all right, there you go. You guys win. Brawny. Oh, nice. Brawny. They're Brawny James fans are in the house. The basketball talk is now over, everyone. Thank you for participating. All right, back to the questions here. Rodgers, Knicks, T-Law, or Geno?
Rodgers, Knicks, T-Law, or Geno? I mean, in this group here, I'd probably go with Geno Smith and just have him at home chucking the football, right? He's throwing 40 times a game.
I'm starting Geno. Absolutely. I have Geno ranked ahead of those guys. None of those guys are in my QB1 range, but Geno's the closest. That QB 13. We got Jalen McMillan, Kirk, Shakir in PPR.
Ooh.
Roll those dice.
What was that?
Roll the dice.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing like a shake weight commercial for me.
Shake those weights.
What are you doing there?
Get your mind out of the gutter, Bender.
Lord.
I'm going McMillan. In that group, I'm going upside.
You got to go upside. I mean, Shakir, again, we expect him to kind of lose on the target share there as Cooper and Kincaid start to climb a little bit. He shares that role with Curtis Samuel. I'm with you on that. And Kirk, dude, I've got so many people who are just like, I don't know what to do with Christian Kirk. I'm doing an entire segment on the Fantasy Alarm Show tonight about all of these guys who everybody's like, what am I supposed to do with it? Like, how do I not dump this guy? Christian Kirk, Anthony Richardson. We're going to have all that conversation later on tonight.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. There's a tough crew there, man. And, Shakir, same fate. When a team trades for Amari Cooper, it's not because Shakir is doing an incredible job, just for the record. Everybody hanging in the chat, Fatty, Jerry, Eric, Rex, thanks for popping in. We're going to hit the questions, but thanks for saying what up. Thanks for hitting that like and that subscribe button, because that means a lot to us. We do this to help you guys out. That helps us out. It really does, with the algorithms and all that stuff that we have to care about, even though we really don't. But it does help us out, so thank you guys for that. Richardson or Prescott in the super flex?
Oh, I mean, Dak Prescott easily for me.
Yeah, no question.
No ground game, has to throw the football, playing up against San Francisco and their semi-depleted secondary, or a high upside turd who just can't seem to get it together. Gonna go with Dak.
Some of Howard Bender's advice from last week: traded Bigsby to the ETN person and got back Nico Collins. What do you think about that,
Jerry?
That's how you do it, right?
I like that.
Find the one person that values Bigsby more than anybody else and see what he's willing to give up. And I bet you that guy that traded for Bigsby, his record, Howard's probably like 1 win, 2 wins. And he knows that if ETN and Collins are out and he loses this week, his season's over. So that's actually probably a good trade for that guy too. He can't lose any more games. PPR league, I need one tight end and a flex. Kelsey is the answer. So the flex play is going to be one of TJ Hawkinson, Hunter Henry, Deontay Johnson, or Michael Pittman. So we need a flex.
Here's the problem. Can you trust Deontay Johnson with Andy Dalton under center? Can you trust Michael Pittman with Anthony Richardson under center? Why wouldn't we just go with Hunter Henry, who we know is still going to see a strong target share in this matchup against the Jets? It's just, that's the way the offense goes. Now, I know that, some people have said that, Hunter Henry, he got the target share this past week because of, different circumstances going on in the game. And he's only had that kind of a game twice now this season. And I get that. I definitely get that. But I'll take the floor here of Hunter Henry, which I think is actually higher than it is now for Pittman or Johnson. I mean, that's the crazy part.
Right. For real. Because, if you need the risky upside play, it's Deontay. But Henry, the last two games with the new quarterback, it's been better. So I feel you on that. Plus, Andy Dalton, I saw actually got into a car accident. They checked him out. Nobody got medically lifted, but he had to get checked out by the team. I hope he's doing all right, but you never know with that stuff. To have to make a hard decision. Yeah. Hard deep keeper decision in the Chris Godwin. Keep him. He's a free agent next year. He's going to get paid. Somebody will pick him up. Was able to grab Juwan. Very nice. I like that. Pick 2 of the 3 in PPR. Bigsby, Waddle, Dowdle.
All right, I'll say.
What do you pick your players based on how funny their team sounds? Their name sounds. Bigsby, Waddle, and Dowdle.
Waddle and Dowdle.
Sounds like a shop in England that would sell potions. Dude. Come on, Bigsby, Waddle, and Dowdle. Come on.
Looking through my Pokemon cards, and I've got a Bigsby, I've got a Waddle. Oh, look, I just pulled a Dowdle.
My Waddle just evolved into a Dowdle. Okay, seriously though.
All right, if ETN is active and good to go, then I'm going Waddle and Dowdle. If ETN is limited, still banged up or whatever, then I'm going Bigsby, Waddle.
Yes, I'm sorry. I am just fully back in on Tyreek and Waddle. I'm just going Tua, cleared concussion protocol, cleared by the neuroscientist, back to practicing. I'm just operating under the assumption that he might be slightly rusty, but obviously much, much better than whatever else they have. Let's see. We got some Tyler Boyd shout out from Scamp, Tyler Boyd Club. I know he's got a soft spot in your heart. Yeah, there you go. The hot take: Detroit deals JMO for edge. JMO has been a bit of a headache. Need 2, please. Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, Zay Flowers, or Wandale. And this is a half PPR, which hurts all of these players except for McLaurin.
Well, does it help that he's got Marcus Mariota likely throwing him the football? How do you feel about that? That's where I get the understanding here. I understand why you would ask about McLaurin just because of the Mariota. Do you have no fear of Mariota getting him the football?
I do. So I'm definitely starting Zay Flowers. You're gonna get these weeks, like this week and the week against the Bills where Derrick Henry ran like crazy, but the upside weeks for Flowers are too good to go away from.
Well, you got to look at also, look at his practice schedule, watch it. He does have the ankle issue. They thought it was a high ankle sprain, and then he tried to play through it the rest of the way. So just kind of look at what his practice schedule is. But I agree with Coop. Out of these guys here, Flowers probably has the higher ceiling.
Right. If Flowers obviously doesn't go. Okay, well, let's say Flowers doesn't go. How would you rank the other guys?
I'd probably go with Wandale and McLaurin. I'm having such a hard time trusting what's going on in Carolina right now. I'm having a really tough time doing that. And listen, Marcus Mariota, at least he's a veteran, right? We're not looking at some crazy matchup here. Yeah, you're going to see him against Jalen Johnson a bunch, and that's going to be the matchup for these two. But I do think, though, that I would rather do that than sit there and worry about whether or not Andy Dalton or whoever's going to quarterback. Maybe maybe this car accident means they turn back to Bryce Young. If that's the case, ooh.
Yeah, gross. Ooh. But maybe. They're also only have one win. So what? Might as well see what the guy can do. Dan here, half PPR. Jane Daniels not going to play. Should I drop Juju to pick up Tua, Bo Nix, Kirk, Cousins, Anthony Richardson, Russell Wilson, or Mariota? So it's Tua or Kirk for me. What do you think, Howard?
It's Tua or Kirk for me as well. Yes. And yeah, I mean, listen, Juju's dealing with a hamstring issue. He's already been ruled out for week 8. Now they bring in DeAndre Hopkins. So what kind of target share are we really looking at for Juju moving forward? Figure
Right.
the targets will stay focused on Kelsey and Worthy, and we're seeing Mahomes really kind of spread the ball around. So what do we get? 4 or 5 targets for Juju, 4 or 5 targets for DeAndre. Like, I mean, that's kind of what you're looking at. So knowing that he's out for week 8, yeah, I'm going to drop him. I'm doing this, Dan, in a number of different leagues that I have Juju Smith-Schuster in right now, that I need to find replacements for Godwin and Metcalf.
Exactly. There's no use crying over spilt fab. You gave yourself a shot at upside. You didn't know they were going to trade at 6 in the morning for DeAndre Hopkins week 8. You know what I mean? Howard, told you no crying. Okay. Fab's gone. Let's take a quick pivot here. We will get back to every question in the please do not do that, dude. You can go back to crying, actually. You can openly cry if it means you're not.
It's been a rough morning over here out in the West
Coast.
Coast.
And a long day. Okay, so let's jump over. Let's just talk about Thursday Night Football, maybe give some underdog picks, and then we'll jump back into the chat. Thursday Night Football here. Vikings at Rams. A good one, if you ask me. 48-point over-under, 3-point spread. Before we get to any of that underdog business, I want to ask you, Howard, with TJ Hawkinson back, the question of the day for me, because Justin Jefferson is going to get his targets. Let's say TJ Hawkinson comes back this week, and next week he's fully healthy. From that point forward, who would you expect to get more targets? If you had to pick one to get more targets, TJ Hawkinson or Jordan Addison?
I would expect Addison to get more targets. I really do. I think that they Darnold needs to throw the ball downfield. Hawkinson's a great play, absolutely, but for me, it's going to be Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson.
Right, and for that reason, this is one of the few times that I would be willing to carry the water and then trade the player before we see it. Like the moment if I was holding TJ Hawkinson, the moment they say he's going to play, especially if I have a roster crunch to get him activated off my IR, I would chop him. Honestly, I would chop him, especially if you have like Brock Bowers or somebody. So many people said they went, I went Brock Bowers and Hawkinson. I'm like, great, trade Hawkinson right now before he gets out there and is a guy coming off a torn ACL with Sam Darnold and 2 good players. Sam Darnold, I'm ranking in the QB1 range, Howard, this week against the Rams, QB12. But
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Ahead of Geno Smith.
Listen, the Rams don't have a great pass defense. They don't have a great secondary. And I mean, who's their top corner? Is it Darius Randall? Is that who their top corner is right now?
Yes.
And that's the guy who's going to pay attention to Justin Jefferson?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what, when we get to the tackle monster, it definitely has something to do with that business. So let me tell you. Let me ask you, would you start Sam Darnold over CJ Stroud?
Would I? No, I really like Stroud this week. Home start. Like they really, really need to. I mean, listen, the Colts are terrible. The Colts defense is awful. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Stroud needs the get right game. He needs the get right game. Joe Mixon will still get his. But what you need from CJ Stroud, especially after last week's debacle, is for him to connect with Diggs, for him to connect with Tank Dell, and to make sure that this passing attack stays fired up, right? You don't want people to think that, if I just take Nico Collins out of the equation, that Stroud can't do anything with it. Like you need to be able to step it up here. And if you look at his home and road splits, obviously favors. I think he's over 20 fantasy points per game at home as opposed to on the road where he's somewhere around like the 14 to 16 point range.
And that's why it's so hard for these like one-off guys to ever crack the top 12, because it's like, we'll go through it. Lamar Jackson, even with Jane Daniels out, let's take Jane Daniels out off the list. Lamar Jackson, stop me when there's a player you would start Sam Darnold over. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Kyler Murray against the Dolphins, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy against the Cowboys.
No, probably not.
You already said CJ Stroud.
Uh-huh.
Patrick Mahomes against the Raiders.
No.
So that's 10 players right there.
Okay.
Caleb Williams against the Commanders.
Borderline.
See?
I think I would actually utilize Darnold more because I like his weaponry better.
Okay. So there you go. So that's how you get Darnold at the 11 and 12 spot, right? And then after that, you still have guys like Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott and Jared Goff, where we're like, man, I really like these guys too. And that's your top 15. So, I mean, it's if you can trade a quarterback in a single QB league, my advice is to go and do it. Because I'm fine with, I have a team with Geno and Caleb Williams, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I'm rich. I don't know who to start. It's like both fine. So cool with that. On the Rams side, Cooper Kupp potentially returning here, which is awesome, getting him into lineups. We also got an update on Puka Nacua. The practice window has been open. 21 days for him to be fully activated here. He's going to practice on a limited basis this week. That means you're getting him back at some point. So if you were holding on to him, good news. I got a league where I got him sitting there on a where I regretted drafting him immediately, and I have him sitting on the IR.
Is it ridiculous to think that with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua back, that suddenly the Rams can get back into playoff contention here? They're sitting at 2-4 at the bottom of the West, but the Niners just lost Ayuk, and they've been having some issues the entire time. The Cardinals are somehow 3-4, but they look like a hot mess. And Seattle at 4-3. I love their offense, but like, are we really buying into that? Like, all of a sudden, I think the addition of Kupp, they need to shore up their defense. And that's going to be an interesting thing to see what happens with the trade deadline. But suddenly, if the Rams can get Puka and Kupp back, kind of a different story.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they got to look around at these teams because the teams are giving up the DeAndre Hopkins and these guys. They got players on defense, right? Max Crosby floating around, all these guys. Like, somebody's got to land some of these big defensive players. And the Rams are definitely a team where it'd make a big difference. Speaking of that, why don't we do a little underdog picking? If you folks want to get set up with underdog, you can hit that QR code right now and use promo code ALARM. They'll match 50% of your deposit up to, I believe, $1,000 right now, which is excellent. And you can get in, and it's not just these pick'ems that we do during the season, but we do all sorts of best ball drafts. We got a ton of those going. We do a ton with the family. We do a ton with everybody, so it's great. But during the season, we do some pick'ems. Right now, I didn't see a pick'em for this game up yet, but they do have a Victor Wembanyama freebie if he scores 1 point.
Wemby!
If you want to get Wemby in there, and you can combine them with the football ones. So sometimes I just put in like a Wemby, and then I put in my football picks because I don't know what I'm doing with basketball. I asked Howard. I asked John yesterday. John gave me a couple, but the Karl Anthony Towns got pulled, before he could get his rebounds. So not John's fault. His picks are usually pretty good. But anyway, for football, Howard, what do you got this week for the Thursday night game?
What do I have this week for the Thursday night game? I went simple, and it's probably a chalky pick there, but it's just a simple higher or lower. Sam Darnold, 1.5 passing touchdowns. I'm saying higher. Justin Jefferson going up against the Rams secondary, absolutely. Can he float another pass somewhere to Addison? Maybe a second one to Jefferson? Yeah. How about like a pass out to the flat to Aaron Jones? I think Sammy Darnold comes through with at least 2 touchdown passes. So 1.5 passing touchdowns for Darnold, higher.
I like it, and that actually plays right into mine. Yeah, we need the sound.
We need that Brian Burns like sound effect there, right?
Shout out Brian Burns. So for me, that plays right into mine, and we're going with the tackle monster. And I did find one where we're going higher. When we go lower, it's not as fun. I have one that's higher, and it's a safety. Howard, here's what we're doing. Quentin Lake has actually been a tackle monster as a free safety for the Rams. He has 3 games this year with over 9 tackles. He had 9 last week against the Raiders. He had 10 against the 49ers, 11 against the Cardinals, 10 against Detroit. So we're going combined tackles higher than 7 for Quentin Lake. And with the way these corners are playing, and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, everybody running around all over the place, I think Quinn's gonna have to be a busy boy once again. So tackle monster, I believe he's number 37 he wears out there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the guy we're looking
I'm
for.
sorry, what?
He wears 37.
Oh,
Quinn
no, I
Wright.
thought you were telling me to correct you if you were wrong instead of you just knowing what you're talking about.
I know what I have a fairly good idea. Chad, just back me up on this. Number 37 out there. So he'll be running around smashing heads and we'll be yelling, get him. Because that's what the tackle monster
Get
prop
him!
is. That's what the prop's all about. So use that promo code there, get set up, play with us on this Thursday. All right, let's pop back in the chat, see what everybody's thinking about. We have this one here. No, we did that one. Would you trade London, Pollard, and Jacobs for Cup, Achane, and D Hop? That is
London, Pollard, Jacobs
spicy.
for Cup, Achane, and D Hop.
He has Connor for context. Connor, Jacobs, Pollard, Ramondre, Etienne, and Hunt. So a lot of middle of the pack guys there.
I mean, like the thing about it is, like, I love Cup, right?
Mhm.
And you want to do that, but you're swinging for the fences here. Like you're taking away a bell cow back, like both like Pollard and Jacobs. They're not sharing the backfield with anybody, and the
Right.
Packers aren't going to sit Jacobs in favor of either Marshawn Lloyd or Emmanuel Wilson. And the Titans have nothing to lose here, so they're going to ride Pollard while they have him. Like Cup is great. Achane is solid, but he's still going to share the workload with Mostert, and
Right.
he's injury prone. Like it constantly happens. And D Hop, it's nice that he's going to Kansas City, but again, Mahomes spreads the ball out so much that I can't really say that like all of a sudden him and Hopkins are gonna, do it. To me, this is a reactionary trade. This is somebody offering you like high upside, flashy players here for your stable, high floor guys who you want to build as like as part of a foundation for your team. So this is no deal for me.
Now, not to mention the guy you didn't really even mention there, Drake London. Don't look now, but he's wide receiver 3 in PPR. And the wide receiver 2, Chris Godwin, just broke his ankle. So he's for healthy players, he's now the wide receiver 2 behind only Jamar Chase. Obviously, Justin Jefferson. I mean, he has more fantasy points per game than Jefferson, even with Jefferson only playing 6 games. So, I mean, Drake London kind of rules. All right, Hal wants to know 2 wide receivers are flex. Chase, Garrett Wilson, McLaurin. My bench is all RBs. So you're starting Chase for sure by a mile. You're starting Garrett Wilson as well. So,
I mean, what's the question here? Like,
I think you're starting the 3 guys you named, man. Don't worry, your bench. I wouldn't move anybody from your bench into the lineup.
I mean, I don't know who the stashed RBs have, and if they are, solid. But there's none of these. Shakir Tillman, Pop Douglas, Dontavian Wicks. None of these guys, to me, are worthy of starting over McLaurin, whether it's Mariota or not.
Nope, definitely not. Sent Hunt and Hopkins for Malik Neighbors. Wow. Well, if my rule of thumb, Jake, is if Hunter Hopkins, one of those guys is in your flex, and you have somebody else that's a flex play that's good enough, the trade in reality in terms of your lineup is Neighbors plus that guy off your bench. So if you have a good guy on your bench that's going in the lineup, I do that. If you're trading 2 guys out of your starting lineup and you're kind of messing your whole lineup up, then I don't. Simple as that for me.
Simple as that.
Howard, Xavier Legette, Cedric Tillman, Sterling Shepard, and Dontavian Wicks.
Oof.
Just a bunch of mega.
Oh, better. Well, at least it's who's a better bench stash
in a 14-team league. So this is exactly who you deal with. Yeah.
It's either Legette. It's probably Legette for me. It's probably Legette, even with Shepard out, with Godwin out, and everybody seems to like Shepard. Shout out to JB Barry, who put like a buttload on him in waivers in one league of mine. I think Legette is probably the better bench stash because that's the guy. Him and Tillman are the 2 guys who I think have the higher upside based on their QB situations and what's going on with their teams. So I'd probably stash one of those 2.
I got to say something because we got a lot of questions to get to. I want to get to them. So we're going to go rapid fire after this, but I just want to get to one point here on Cedric Tillman because I posted my waiver article, had a lot of people asking me, why didn't you have Cedric Tillman at the very top? He got 12 targets this week. And to that I said, well, how did he get 12 targets? What happened in that game? And when you go and look at it, they dropped back to pass 62 times. They called 62 pass plays. The average plays in an NFL game is 63. This team called 62 pass plays, and he got 12 targets of that 62, which is about 18% of them. If you go over and look at the Jaguars game, where they had the game in hand against the Patriots, Evan Engram got 5 targets. 5 targets when they dropped back to pass 21 times. That's actually 23%, right? If you do it by targets, the target share for Evan Engram, his 5 target share was higher than the 12 targets for Cedric Tillman. That's why we use target share. You have to try and equate it to what a normal game looks like. In a normal game, Engram would have got more targets. Tillman would have got less. Tillman didn't even get the most targets on his team, and Njoku got 13. They were chucking all over the place. So you got to keep that in mind with these players. It's a small sample size game. You can't go crazy. We watched Cole Kmet got 10 of his 29 targets in one game. Besides that, he's got a couple touchdowns, but he's getting 3 or 4 targets, right? End of rant. Let's get into some rapid fire here to get caught up a little bit. Fatty wants to know, are we trusting DK's knee this week if he plays or just sit him?
I mean, if he plays, maybe. It depends on who your other options are, but chances are I don't think he's going to, but we'll see.
Yeah. Keep starting Laporta every week and watching him catch one pass and hoping that it's some kind of crazy flea flicker that he scores a touchdown on? Or do you start Tucker Kraft?
I'm sticking with Laporta, especially with JMO out.
Too. JMO suspended, Chris. So that really is the difference between last year and this year. Pretty worried about Kupp and all his health and trade rumors. Trade rumors would be a good thing for Kupp.
My boy Stasek he so badly wants Kupp going to Pittsburgh.
Right. Well, actually, that would be a bad thing for him. But outside of going to Pittsburgh, it would be a good thing.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what, the one thing about trades is that you have to be medically cleared. So if Cooper Kupp gets traded to another team, you now have confirmation via a second team that he is healthy enough to play football, which is always good to hear.
So Kupp and B-Rob for Brees and Pop Douglas? I don't know if I would do that. I mean, I think, obviously Brees is a big upgrade to Brian Robinson, but Robinson's been rock solid. There's no argument against there. Pop Douglas, to me, it's a matter of, am I buying into Kupp and not buying into Pop Douglas? I know this is a hurtful one for you.
No, I'm with you, man. Pop Douglas, the Patriots, people got to understand the Patriots still have a lot of sorting out to do. You know what I mean? Kayshon Boutte twice now has played more snaps than any other wide receiver because he's familiar with Drake May, but they don't want that. They want Jalen Polk, and they want the guys that are supposed to be the starters getting those reps. So for the time being, they're doing what's easy, which is short passes to Pop Douglas and Hunter Henry and all that, which will take advantage of that. But you got to know that this offense is going to have some growing pains and some changing and some movement. So I wouldn't just lock Pop Douglas in for 9 targets a game. So that's that. Just got Troy Franklin on waivers and SFB. I think that's not a bad ad, Brian. We talked about that yesterday. I like that a lot. Tyreek Hill is disgruntled about Hopkins going to the Chiefs. Whatever, dude. Tyreek Hill's always got something to say. Tyreek Hill was offered an opportunity to convert his contract into guaranteed money, which would have saved the Chiefs salary cap, and he would have got the exact amount of money, and he said no. And that's why he got traded. So I will cry exactly 0 tears for Tyreek Hill because he got traded because he's an idiot. Drop Juju, Ford, or both. Sure.
Drop Juju, Ford, or both. Juju right now. I'm gonna, as much as I love Nick Chubb, you have to watch him a little bit more than just the one game before you let a full handcuff go. That's my opinion.
Agreed. And Ford could play a little bit. We don't know for sure. T-Law, Richardson, or JMO in the super flex.
T-Law, Richardson, or JMO in the super flex. I'm probably going with T-Law.
I am also going with T-Law. I have against the Packers. Yeah, I'll go T-Law, man. Richardson has just been tough. If you feel, you can't start Jameis. That'd be crazy. But maybe Richardson if you're feeling froggy, but it's probably T-Law. Let's see. The Godwin thing was rough. Looking to trade Cup before the Rams trade him. If he goes to the Steelers, his value is dead. That is probably true. Would you trade Cup for Adams? I feel like Adams has a secure future. I think I would.
Would you?
Adams played the entire game.
I know.
He's going to score a touchdown.
I just can't stand Aaron Rodgers. And if you watch that game against Pittsburgh, I mean, how many underthrows, how many misfires, and it's not just about, it's Rodgers and his age, and it's Rodgers and his arm strength, and it's Rodgers not gelling properly. But it's also, to me, it's about defensive coordinators understanding what Rodgers wants to do every single time. And they're disguising coverage packages that make it a lot easier. Go look at the number of interceptions that Aaron Rodgers has thrown in his career each season. And now go look at how many interceptions he's got already this year. And we're not even through the first 8 weeks of the season. That's what bothers me the most about Aaron Rodgers. So, I get it. He's going to force targets over to Devontae Adams, but I don't know.
Cooper Kupp hurt. Yeah. I think stick with what you have. Oh, it's Chaka, dude. What's up, Chaka? Where you been, bro? Thanks for popping in. Tua or Knicks? I have Tua ranked one spot ahead of Knicks. I'll be starting Tua against the Cardinals, even though Knicks against the Panthers is good too. But Cardinals are better at forcing the issue coming back the other way. That's the difference between the Panthers and the Cardinals, is that Kyler Murray will make you keep playing offense, whereas the Panthers, you just got to do whatever you want, and then the game's over somewhere in the third. Tua or Mahomes? Mahomes, right? Against the Raiders?
Yeah. I'm using Mahomes.
Yeah. Offering 3-4 owners, Dell and Dak, for JJ and Nico. The owner of JJ and Nico has no QB. Is that fair?
Dell and Dak for Justin Jefferson or Nico? Yeah. I mean, listen, if he doesn't have a QB and he's light on receivers, I would definitely make that offer. I would, you lock it in for JJ 100%. Be willing to accept Nico. That's my feeling.
Yeah. Schultz or Henry this week? And I have to ask, what has Dalton Schultz done to make us want to start him at all? Hasn't really done much.
Henry.
It's Henry, yeah. Schultz is exactly Schultz.
We've been hoping that Schultz was going to pop. He'll catch the touchdown this week.
This week, yeah, but whatever, dude. It's like I don't care. He didn't catch the 8 targets when he had them. He caught 3 of them. Last week, he didn't do anything. It's like these guys. I mean, I'll tell you this though. Here's the reality of it. If Hunter Henry was playing with Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell, then we wouldn't like Hunter Henry either. You know what I mean? It's like when you have guys that are incredible at catching the football on your team, it makes it difficult for them to want to throw you the ball 10 times. But Hunter Henry is playing with Jalen Polk and Kendrick Bourne. Happy hump day. What's up, Josh? Thanks as always for the content. Full PPR. Yes, get in the Discord, everybody. Come hang out with us. Howard, get that QR code up there while I'm answering this one.
Which QR code do you want there, Coop? Do you want ours? The All Pro?
The one that goes up here.
Okay.
Above your head.
Where?
Oh, that way. There it is.
Right up here?
Look at
this
that.
One?
Magic. That's YouTube magic.
I don't even know. There you go.
There it is. It's our It's our screens are reversed. So if you see us pointing the wrong way every single time, that's why. Okay. Starting Chase and Neighbors. Would you start Moore or Cup? Man, wagon.
Oh, you know what? I would actually use DJ Moore this week, going up against Washington. Coming off of the bye, I feel like this is going to be a really nice game for DJ Moore. I'm locking him into all of my DFS lineups this week, 100%.
DJ Moore, awesome. Waddle, yes, big bump for Waddle. Chargers defense against the I had it.
Chargers D.
How have I forgotten?
Eagles D. Eagles going up against the Bungles, and Chargers going up against home start against the Saints. I don't know if Derek Carr's playing, so I'm using the Chargers.
Yep. Daniel Jones for Tolbert. Yeah, I'd trade Daniel Jones for anything.
If it's what's the context here?
If it's a single QB league, I would trade Daniel Jones for literally anything. Mason, Pollard, Monty, or Achane. Just got to bench one.
Oh, all right. I am benching. Well, all right. You can't bench Mason because Dallas can't stop the run.
No.
I am
Mason's
not benching. You know what?
Monty.
I'm not benching Monty. You are
Well,
benching Monty, or
I
you're not
might.
benching Monty?
I might.
I mean, see what his knee is like. All right, so
I might
Achane
bench
against
bench
Arizona,
Pollard.
yes. Mason
I'd
against Dallas, yes. It's Pollard versus Monty.
I'd probably bench Pollard. Keep an eye on Monty. If Monty gets a full practice, then start Monty. But Pollard, I mean, they just traded away Hopkins. The team stinks. They're playing the Lions. Not a good spot. Here we are. Now we're behind. All right, we're super rapid fire this time.
Super rapid fire. All right, well, then I'm going to go super rapid fire here. Go for it.
Okay, McMillan or Coleman?
McMillan.
Brad McCoy in the house. Twitch gang.
Oh, shit.
Big list of players trying to trade for Debo.
Big list of players. All right, currently 7-0.
He's always come up when we try to go rapid fire.
I know, right? Debo owner just said shopping him around. Do you see a package that could be worth getting him? A package for Debo? Yeah, you know what? Give me send him Waddle and Goddard.
Yeah, Goddard or anybody from that list.
Send him Waddle and Goddard and see what you
can. And then just add a tight end off of waivers.
Because I'm not a Waddle guy.
I would like
Coop might be, but
I would like Javon Baker to get a shot, but there's a lot of guys they rotate around.
Yeah.
More Celtics to hate. Larry Bird, love. Would you drop Leggett for Fant? No, I would not.
No.
Noah Fant on the outside looking in. Traded Wandale for Otten. I like that. Tillman really a thing. I actually had a rant about that earlier. Hopefully you saw that.
Do you think Tillman is a thing?
He could be, but not a guy. You don't add him because he got 12 targets. You add him because he played a decent snap share. But I think that the top targets on the team are still Njoku and Judy. And Jameis Winston is not going to solve the offensive line problem. It's not going to solve the culture problem. And he's still Jameis Winston. So I wouldn't go crazy. Baker or Prescott, Howard? Rapid.
Baker or Prescott? Prescott,
yeah. Can't start Baker now. He lost both his wide receivers. Mayfield or Winston? So I guess you can start Baker. I guess you can start Baker. I would still start Baker.
You got to start Baker here.
Yeah. Trade away Watson, Keon Coleman, or Dowdle for Mooney, Kirk, and Justice Hill.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah, I would do that too.
I'm okay with that. I think the upside of Mooney and Kirk is definitely outweighing Watson, Coleman.
Great point. Bring it. Everyone drop a like. Takes 2 seconds. Does us a huge solid. Would you start Wandale or Jalen McMillan?
I'm gonna go with Jalen McMillan here, as opposed to I'm just not.
Much more fun. Do I think Hawk is playing? I don't know. Was able to pick up Juwan Jennings. Awesome. Should I drop Juju for Parasol just in case? I would. Or Jalen McMillan. No, I'd pick up McMillan. I rank him Juwan, McMillan, Parasol. But if you can't get McMillan, get Parasol and lock in that role. We hit that one already. Daniels went down. Need a QB. Caleb, A-Rich, Geno, Nix.
Geno, then Caleb, then Nix.
Geno Smith is awesome. Got Mahomes piecing together QB2. I don't need Amari Cooper after my Watson, Dalton, Flacco. Well, yeah, I mean, you just got to start Jameis because none of those other guys are alive.
I would actually trade Hopkins before I trade Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper gets a rock-solid target share. I think he gels nicely with Josh Allen, and Mahomes spreads the ball around a lot, and you've got other mouths to feed. So I would probably shop Hopkins with this news because everybody's like, oh, my God, remember DeAndre Hopkins is going to be with the Chiefs. It's going to be amazing. Is it?
What do they got? Some sort of like knee-fixing cream over there? Like Amari Cooper is still healthy, the number one, scored a touchdown last week. And Josh Allen is still pretty good. Should I drop Mostert for Tyron Tracy? I think now is probably the worst time of the entire season to drop Raheem Mostert.
Yes,
I think
agree with
that you got to watch one game with Tua back and then make the swap. And here's the thing, and this is the same take I have with DeAndre Hopkins. If Tyron Tracy or DeAndre Hopkins are on waivers in your league currently, that means it's a shallow league. and you don't need to go crazy adding them because if it was a deeper league, they would have been added. So I usually don't go nuts. It's kind of a catch-22. If it's a deep league, they're not out there. If it's a shallow league, you don't need to drop a ton for them. What's up with Jameson Williams? He's suspended for doing some kind of masking agent that is banned. So I don't know. Guy keeps screwing up. Pick 2 to start. Dowdle, Pickens, Chase Brown. We like Chase Brown, so Dowdle or Pickens.
And Pickens.
Yeah, bang. Rodgers looked like the year before the Packers traded him. He's cooked. Yeah, there are certain attitude players out there. DeAndre Hopkins is the kind of guy that would have a not play well when he has a bad attitude and play better with the Chiefs when he has a good attitude, but I need to see it first. I trade Mahomes or drop him. Don't drop Mahomes.
Stop.
If you can trade Mahomes for someone that starts and then pick up Caleb Williams, I would do that.
Okay.
Because why not? But don't trade Mahomes. Don't drop Mahomes. Just drop him. Mahomes is going to be just fine. Same deal with Mahomes. Is going to be fine. They're probably going to beat every time they play the Raiders, they beat them by 100. And Travis Kelce goes bonkers. Dobbins, Connor, or Kyron. Pick 2.
Chargers go up against the Saints. Kind of a weak D, but all right. Kyron's a must. Like, there's no reason to ever ask about Kyron Williams. Like, what is it that Kyron Williams hasn't done right now that makes you think that you should put him on the bench in any way, shape, or form? I don't care that it's a tough matchup against Minnesota. They still need to run the football.
He plays one of the best defenses in the league in a week where there's no bye weeks, and that moved him down for me to what? RB6. Like, he's locked in. Yeah, lock
him in.
All right. Rapid fire has been derailed. The other player I would start is J.K. Dobbins ahead of James Conner. James Conner, that's just how I have it ranked.
Yeah.
How's that sound? I have J.K. Dobbins ranked 2 spots ahead of James Conner.
Cooper.
Yep, good. That's how you rapid fire. Bucky or Jalen Warren?
Bucky.
Jacoby or Lad McConkey?
Lad McConkey.
Kelce for Otten? No, don't drop Kelce under any circumstances. Start 3. Jordan Mason is starting for you. Yeah. Kareem Hunt.
Yes.
Yeah. Start Mason, Hunt, and
Mason, Hunt, Connor?
Yeah, and Connor, yeah. Nick Chubb, I'd love to have him, but
it's not PPR. By the way, it's not PPR.
Yeah, plus Chubb's playing the Ravens, though. You can't run on them. Bigsby, Ladd, Dowdle, or Myers.
If no ETN, then Bigsby. But if ETN's playing at all, Lad McConkey.
Pitts or Kraft rest of season. I know my opinion on this, Howard. I'd like to get yours.
Pitts.
Yes. Agreed.
Rapid fire.
He just has upside. If you have Mahomes rocks. Bateman, Olave, or Tutu.
What was that comment there? If you have Mahomes, you suck at fantasy football and probably are the type to start Hill and Waddle without Tua. Oh, Matthias. Come on.
You know how
to be like that.
If you're going to be mean, at least be funny. That is a little funny. So
it is a little funny.
We'll allow it. But that's the rules of the chat. If you're going to be mean, you have to at least be funny. Bateman, Olave, or Tutu.
Well, I don't know Olave's condition right now. Bateman, I don't know Zay Flowers' condition right now. Tutu Atwell, probably going to be the guy.
Yeah, Tutu. Tutu has 4 straight games of double-digit PPR points. So time to acknowledge that he is a thing. I get Jefferson for BTJ and Cup. His wide receivers right now are Jefferson, AJ, and D-Hop. Why is he doing that? Why is anyone
I'd rather
doing
just
that?
have, AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp, and Brian Thomas Jr.
I don't know why he would need to do. I don't know why anyone needs to do this. You should keep the guys you have. He should keep the guy he sees he has. I'm just vetoing the trade. Trade Mason plus Pitts or Kraft and get Dobbins. Now that's an interesting long-term dilemma.
I mean, I'm okay with it because what we're hearing right now from Kyle Shanahan is they're expecting Christian McCaffrey back for week 10. That's their target date for him. Even if it's not going to be week 10 and it's like week 11 that McCaffrey's like good to go in full, it obviously devalues Mason. So, yeah, Mason and one of those guys to get J.K. Dobbins. I don't love Dobbins.
Yeah, try to get somebody better. But
yeah, if you're going to offer that package, get somebody a little bit better than Dobbins. Go for like a Josh Jacobs type guy.
Yeah. Jordan Mason is must start unless you have 3 of the other guys from the top 11
Yes.
because he's playing the Cowboys. Um, you're good, man. You're good. You're making us chuckle. All right. This is it. Last question from Ralph A. I drafted and have held on to Richardson, but have been streaming Darnold and Geno. Can I dump Richardson?
Yes. If this isn't a keeper league, yes.
Yes.
I think you can. I think Darnold and Geno are perfectly acceptable quarterbacks to use, and you'll play the matchups for both.
And Hoosier, obviously, and always, we will discuss that trade in Discord. Drop that one in Coop's Corner with a screenshot of your roster, and I'll take a look at it right after that. If you want your rosters analyzed in full, click that QR code within the next 30 seconds and get set up over at fantasyalarm.com. You can DM me on Twitter if you have trouble getting set up with the Discord at Coupe Fiasco. I'll just get it. I'll take care of it all for you because it's easy enough. But it's actually not that hard anyway. But get that all set up, post it in the Discord, and we'll take care of it. That's it for us tonight. Howard Bender on Sirius XM, 6 to 8 p.m., rocking on the radio. I'll be joining him Thursday, Friday, and also Sunday morning. So plenty of football left to go. Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe on the